You have entered the Chronic's rabbit hole. You're watching Storytime with E.T.C, episode 23, featuring Meek from Visions of Atlantis. Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
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 Do you hear me?
Can hear and see you perfectly.
Okay, perfect. Fantastic. Okay, awesome. How you doing, guys?
I'm doing amazing. How are you? Where are you? Are you at home right now?
Yeah, this is my studio. It's my studio at my home. So yeah.
Beautiful. Where do you live?
Finally in Italy. In
In
Italy, it's
Italy.
I'm you might know Venice. I think this is
Yes.
the most famous city that is close to here. It's like one and a half hour, so not too far. But
Oh,
yeah, not the
very
closest.
cool.
That's incredible. Well, thank you so
Where
much
are
for
you
spending.
located?
We're from Canada, Vancouver Island.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Have
Yeah.
have you been around like British Columbia or have you?
Yeah, we've been playing there a
Yeah, that's
couple times
amazing.
actually.
Well,
Very cool.
that's incredible. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us, Meek. This is incredible for
Cool.
us.
More than welcome. More than welcome. It's always a pleasure, like to share some stuff and spend some time discussing about music. So isn't it the best?
It
It
is the
is the
best.
Yeah.
best.
Especially with enthusiastic people like you, and you have so much going on this year and even next year. So we got a lot to talk about. I don't know how much time you kind of have today.
Well, let's go with the flow and let's
Sounds
see let's
good.
see how it rolls. Like
See where the
half an
waves
hour,
take
40
us.
minutes are totally fine. Absolutely.
Okay, sounds good because we have awesome segments kind of prepped up for you too. This is Alana, my beautiful wife.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hello, my pleasure. My pleasure.
We
Nice
are
wall that you have back there.
Thank
pretty
you.
nice, eh? And it's bands like these that helped us find you actually with Visions of Atlantis. We found you about a year and a half ago actually with Masters of the Seas. We're a reaction channel, so a lot of people send us your way when we started getting into symphonic metal.
That's great to hear. I mean, these are, like our especially back then when the band was formed and everything, like this is the inspiration that, every symphonic metal band in the world has taken from, like Nightwish
Right.
Mm.
especially. Epica, they are a second wave already, but still, I believe they are the biggest act at the moment in symphonic metal. At least
I I agree.
from my humble opinion, I would say is that they are the ones that are bringing forward the genre in the most pure and rooted way compared to the beginning.
I agree. And their
Yeah.
shows live are just next level too. So big shout out to Epica. Absolutely.
Mm-mm-mm. Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
And something to let you know, I wanted to ask you a question to start this interview off really awesomely. How much do you remember every concert or show that you are in?
Oh, this is fun. This is fun. This is a funny question. It's hard for me not to remember one. If I don't remember a show or a venue, it's really weird because every show is an adventure, and I mean, even before Visions of Atlantis, I've been playing music since I don't know, like the first concert, I think it was 8 or 9 years old, playing the piano, for
Wow.
their year-ending exhibit, of the music school. You see what I mean?
Right.
Like kids do this, and even if it's a bit foggy, I still have memories of the plays, of the emotions and everything. I barely remember what I played back then, but the vibe is still inside of me. You see what I mean? And
Yeah.
concert after concert, I remember the first concert, I remember the second concert, I remember like the first one, of course, are Magic. And then
Yes.
if I look at the date and I think, okay, where was that? I 90%, 99%, I would say I remember. It rarely happened that I didn't remember a venue or a show that I played. Yeah.
Wow.
Very
So let's
cool.
test this then. Alana and I actually got to see you live about a year ago in Calgary. Do you remember the location or the show at all?
So the name, no, of course, like this is wait, let's clarify. I need to read it and then it pops to my mind. But it was the
Sounds
show with
good.
Corpiclani, right?
You got that
It
right. Yeah.
was.
It was at the Dickens in
Yeah.
that little pub area.
Yeah. Of course, of course, of course. Yeah, yeah.
That's so amazing.
And it's this venue with the low ceiling, right?
Yes,
Yes.
very low
Very low.
ceiling.
Yeah. See, you do.
You do.
So,
I remember.
and it pops up. It's just a matter of reconnected with the environment and everything. I remember Windrose played there a couple weeks before us, or a
before.
couple weeks, yeah, or something like this. And I was like, wow, because of course Windrose is a way bigger band than we are at the moment. And I was like, wow, and they play in the same venue that we are playing here in Canada. And I was like, it's pleasant in
Proud.
a way.
That's amazing. It's
That's
good to be
so
humble,
cool.
but you also have some goals and people you want to perform with in the same show. That makes a lot of
Of
sense.
course,
And
absolutely,
and at
absolutely.
this show for us, it was so memorable. We just started watching live concerts recently, and at your concert, a lobster was literally
In the
in the
crowd.
crowd. You got us literally rowing with
On the ground.
monsters. And I'm curious, is there a ship that you're getting us to row? Is there a name for the ship, like in Pirates of the Caribbean is the Black Pearl? Do you guys got a ship?
So this is also an inner joke, an inner thing. Like we tend to call it Atlantis,
Right.
I
For
but
road
it's
love
it's it's
that.
not it's not a real thing, you know. But the thing is that the name of the band, Visions of Atlantis, comes from the very origin of the band. Which
Mhm.
I don't know if you know the history of Vision of Atlantis that well, but this band was formed in the year 2000,
Yes.
Mhm.
basically with 4 out of 5 members that were different compared to the actual lineup, and only Thomas, the drummer, who is also the founding member, the band belongs to him in a certain way. It's his creature. You see what I mean?
Okay, good to know.
He's the sole survivor of that original lineup. Um, and back then, of course, the lyrics and everything was connected to the myth of Atlantis, and
Mhm.
like this universe around the city of Atlantis and the mythology around it. Then, with time, we kept the nautical theme and everything, and as you perfectly know, especially with the last two records, we
Pirated it up.
transformed. Exactly, we pirated up. We transformed it into pirates because of several reasons. Maybe we'll discuss during this interview. But the connection with the original myth of Atlantis is somehow lost. We don't talk about the myth of Atlantis anymore, and we're like, but
Right.
we are still called Visions of Atlantis. Why? Sometimes we're, well, it's our ship.
It
It's the
is
name
the
of our
ship.
ship, you know.
I love
That's
it.
So
good to know.
We got to row Atlantis. I was 7 months pregnant at that concert rowing Atlantis, so that was a ton of fun.
where are you? Oh,
I
geez.
was.
And you sat down and
And
rode.
I
She
sat
did.
down and rode that boat.
I mean, you're. I don't know if it's like a boy or a girl, but no matter what, he's gonna be born a pirate.
He is. He is a
It's a
pirate.
boy and he's a pirate.
Isaac the
Don't worry.
pirate.
Well, that's really amazing because we wanted to just let you know, like we've seen you live. You brought so much
You
energy,
did.
and we have not forgot that show, even though we've seen a bunch of other shows. That one really sticks in our mind because it was memorable, and you made everyone move, even all the way back to the pub. You made sure everyone was moving, and that was really
And
cool to see your stage presence.
that's our superpower, I think. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to, sound arrogant or else, but I think that, some bands, if you talk about Dream Theater, it's about musicianship, like they
Yes.
Mhm.
are so. I see the hat over there, that's why I I mentioned them. Yeah, I saw them at Hellfest like 2 days ago.
Oh,
You
can't
know,
wait to talk
Oh
about
man.
they were like the last band playing from midnight 40 to 1:30 or something. I stayed there just to watch Dream Theater. It's incredible. Like they
Mind
just
blowing.
are. They are they are like aliens. I can only describe it like this. Like they master music in a way that is beyond imaginable, and that's their superpower. And then, you have
Yes.
bands that have an unforgettable show in terms of production, like I don't know if you saw Falling in Reverse recently, they have flames all over the
Oh, it's
place.
crazy.
Or Rammstein, like I watched Rammstein or Ghost. I watched these shows a couple times, and
Oh
I'm like,
boy.
okay, the day I have, like the budget to make something like this is what I want to do. They are
Mhm.
inspirational.
That's really cool to
And
hear.
and then there are bands like us where I believe our superpower is the connection with people, the connection with the crowd, because everyone that comes to our show lives an adventure with us, but it truly does, and you are a living, testimony of
We're still
of this,
rocking.
like
We're still rocking. We're still rowing that boat.
you think back of the show and you don't think, oh, they were so good at playing, or oh, the production of the show was so incredible. You think, oh, I enjoyed that show so much, which is massive achievement in my opinion, because even
It
if we
is.
don't have the budget that other bands have, and we don't have like especially in venues like this that are tiny in terms of height and stage, we still gift the crowd with a memory that will stay with them for a while, and
Mhm.
this is, in my opinion, it's beautiful. I hope this is what you perceive too.
It
It,
is.
it was what we perceived. I'm gonna be honest, so I hadn't actually seen any live concerts up until I hit like 30, and that was my first time seeing concerts. So my first concert ever was Dream Theater, and then I got to see Visions of Atlantis after that following through. And so it was such an amazing experience for me that it really left an impactful like memory that I'm always gonna go back to as like my first experiences with concerts. And like I got protected from the mosh pit by a lobster, so it doesn't get any much better than that.
Wow, that's a sentence that will stay with me forever. I got
Well,
protected from mosh pit by a lobster.
And that could only happen at a Visions of Atlantis concert. So
No,
it
that's
really
amazing.
so it was really cool. Getting into like a lot of your music. Your music is phenomenal. You recently released a new music video, Hellfire, which had a ton of pyrotechnics, ton of fire. It was absolutely phenomenal. We definitely got the vibe of like power and liberation and internal conflict while we were listening to this amazing video and music. What did the song bring out of you vocally and emotionally, and how do you and Clementine approach tracks like this and then coming up with this design?
So, let's say that when we write the songs, like Clemmy and I, we always work together during the songwriting.
oh,
Okay,
Mhm.
cool.
I write the music, she writes the lyrics, but there is always, a connection between these two parts because one doesn't leave out of the other. But we start with the music, and somehow when you listen to a song, even if you don't listen to the lyrics, if you don't, take care of the lyrics, but you still perceive a vibe, you still perceive,
Mhm.
and you still get
The
some
spirit
sort
line.
of emotion, like there is an atmosphere that is evoked, that is summoned somehow, by the sound, by the melodies, by the soundscape that the song creates. You see what I mean?
Hmm.
And this is the starting point for Clementine um to start lyric writing,
Right.
because of
Mhm.
course, if it's a song is a inspires you, uh, power, gives you a power vibe, or if a song is somehow melancholic, or if it's a song that somehow inspires you, I don't know, sadness, because sometimes this happens. This
Hmm.
is where you start defining, okay, we will go into that direction. When it comes to Hellfire, we felt rebellion, Clemmy especially, of course, because she felt rebellion, like,
Mhm.
You got
and
that right.
a, a state point of all Visions of Atlantis songs is that we don't just want to tell silly pirate stories. We want
Mhm.
to give messages to our listeners. It's
Hmm.
so important, We don't just want to make good music that is for fun, but we want the listener to get something out of the lyrics so that it can truly help in a way or another in your own life if you find a connection. It's not
Hmm.
given, it's not to be taken for granted that there will be a connection, but this is what we aim for. And when it comes to rebellion, rebellion is not a negative thing. It's not
Exactly.
always, like,
Yeah.
rebellion doesn't need to be connected with, okay, fight and, like, war and these kind of things. Like, rebellion, it's a feeling that sometimes we need to develop to grow as people, to
Hmm.
stand on our ground, because a lot of people, unfortunately, they are overpowered by superiors, they are overpowered
Yes.
by others, and
Absolutely.
and this is a struggle that is often unfair,
Hmm.
like, and there are so many connections in the political world, in the real world, at schools, like, just think of bullies. Bullies are people that overpower others for no reason, basically, for their
Mhm.
own issues.
Hmm.
And there are those who are bullied that suffer out of this. And what's the point here? Like, brought to the pirate universe, rebellion.
Hmm.
So what
Mhm.
do? We unleash the hellfire. We find the fire that's inside of us. We
Yes.
let it out, and we say, "Hey, I'm not gonna take this. And this is the meaning of this song. And consequently, once the message is clear, the way they approach this, the vocal approach to the song, and the visual impact and everything, it's obvious on on our
Absolutely.
side, and it becomes a game because then this is where the cinematic part of Visions of Atlantis jumps in, kicks in, and we
Yeah,
are like, okay, now how do we make our own little movie out of it?
that's
Because
exciting.
this is what we do, like we are dressed up as pirates because we want to live in the pirate universe, because there are so
Hmm.
many things that you can create in this
Hmm.
universe visually and atmospherically speaking, and on the cinematic level. And this is why
Absolutely.
our videos go always in this direction. You will never see us performing in blue jeans and
No.
without with stuff like this, because we want to evoke some we want the message to be clear, not only for the ears but also for the eyes, if you know
I
what I mean.
love that. I absolutely love that. And I do know what you mean because it is such a cinematic piece whenever we see any of your music videos. They feel like mini movies that we're watching and like completely diving into. And I absolutely love it. And I love how you brought up rebellion because this is an anthem of rebellion and pushing people to move past their limitations to be able to strive for greater things. And I absolutely loved Hellfire for that reason. It really is an anthem that I've shown to my friends as well, being like, look at this.
It's extremely catchy too, and I love that you were mentioning it's okay to use the gimmick in a way to get into that area, but you're trying to bring in substance behind your music, and that's why we feel so empowered after listening to it while also having fun
Absolutely.
with the gimmick in a way. Like it was so hard not to say "R" as soon as I saw you, right?
Yeah, that's the point, and especially in the modern society, I feel like people need a gimmick. Like if you think of it, we are used to Netflix, we are used to video games, we
Yes.
are a generation that is not only mine but also the new generations. Okay, my I'm two generations apart from the current generation right now. So this is
You're only
the,
40.
yeah, an edgy topic, but you see what I mean. Like we are like young people and adults right now have grown up knowing what a different universe is, a virtual universe is, or a cinematic universe is. This was
Mhm.
extremely different if you go back 50 or 60 years. But
Yeah.
nowadays, people of my age have been growing up playing video games where you were interpreting a character.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Young people, they are used to TV series where they are transported in a different universe, different from the current one in which we live.
Mhm.
You're
So,
right.
because this has been said and done, like we have Judas Priest to do this, we have Dream Theater to do this, we have Iron Maiden to do this, and they did it so well that I believe that there is very little still to say in that
Realm.
format, in that
Yeah.
way. You see what
Yeah.
I mean?
Mhm.
But when it comes to modernizing the entire universe of the band, this is where we need to find a connection with what's happening around us. And people are
Mhm.
so used to get messages from adventures, being adventures coming from the television world, from the cinema world, from the video
Mhm.
games world, or from any other world, cosplaying world,
Yeah.
that we bands need to find a way to communicate with modern people. And we
Absolutely.
found our own path into piracy, into this
Yes.
romantic piracy. But hey,
It
is
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 romantic
that so?
piracy.
But is it that so different from reading a book? I don't think
No,
so.
It's
it's
No.
not.
not.
No, you
No.
mastered your art there then. Truly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. You read a
And
book, you read Lord of the Rings, you enter that universe, you picture it. We are just making it music, but it's the same.
I love that.
And it's so great too because there's so many times when I'm talking to my friends, I'm like, "Hey, you want to listen to this metal song?" They're like, "Yeah, okay." I'm like, "Hey, you want to listen to some pirate metal?" They're like, "Absolutely, I do." Right? So it's like it is a niche that you've really mastered in that art form, and I think it's beautiful and amazing. How do you feel that your band has evolved since the album Pirates?
Well, Pirates was a discovery for, wait, was a discovery of ourselves, not only for ourselves. Because
Nice.
if you look at the discography before Pirates, the pirate theme was, we were flirting with it, that's for
Hmm.
sure.
Hmm.
But the entire attire, the outfits and everything was not
Aesthetic, yeah.
there yet. And we were talking in the studio with our producer, and at a certain point, he was like, "Guys, your songs are about piracy. Your music is clearly nautical oriented. Why are you doing it halfway? And
Right.
we're like,
Yeah.
hey, you're right. You see
Was
what I mean?
convinced.
Sometimes things are so much in front of your nose that you don't realize them, like, and we were like, okay, this guy, he's right. Clementine will tell you that she was fighting for this since years and years.
Really?
But yeah, yeah, yeah. But sometimes, like it has to be the right moment.
Of
Sometimes the
course.
Hmm.
momentum is what matters the most. And the words of our producer at the right moment, at the right time, they
Wow.
ignited something. And Pirates, it's in my opinion, it's half and half of a pirate record because yes, we have the pirate attire, we have the pirate universe, we have the pirate pictures and everything, but the songs, we started to write that record following what we were before,
Right.
and only during the songwriting process we turned them into pirates songs.
It's a very transitioning album.
Okay, it was exactly Pirates to Armada. We started and we finished with a clear picture in our mind, and I think you can hear it a bit more
Hmm.
that it's like it's a story from the moment in which you press play to the
Yes.
end. You're like, okay, I've been on a journey. When it comes to Pirates One, you are discovering a soundscape, I would say, discovering this
Hmm.
cinematic world,
Hmm.
but the journey that is offered with Pirates to Armada is not the same. So I think this answers your question pretty
I think
It
so
detailedly.
too.
does.
We actually listened to Pirates to Armada this morning before the interview to get a good feel of what we were getting into with the whole album. And it really, like what you said, really does encapsulate the whole album, where it is like a full journey from start to finish that is well thought out and planned. Like you're following the dotted line on a pirate map to go from the beginning to the end of the album, and it's gorgeous. I love it.
Oh, that's great. It's great to hear that it reaches, in this way because that's exactly the point. Like it's different tales. It's not one tale split into chapters. It's
Hmm.
different tales, but you jump on board on the first song, and at the end you're like, okay, that was an adventure.
It
That's
was.
the goal. That's the goal.
And
Mhm.
it's cool to know that you're behind most of the music. You mentioned that,
Correct.
right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, correct,
is the
correct. Like
drummer too then, since he was like one of the founding members, or mainly
so,
you?
no, not really, not really. That's also a thing, Like I think that the stability that we've reached and the evolution that we've reached in the last 7 years comes from the fact that we found like Germans call it constellation. It's really interesting.
Mm,
When they talk about lineup in the German universe, they call it constellation. And I
makes
think this
sense.
is a fantastic word because
Yeah.
the five of us somehow we formed this constellation, that
Hmm.
that is shining clearly and brightly. And before, it was like, when you look at the stars and they tell you, okay, this is, I don't know if it's called the big horse or the big boar in,
Hmm.
like this constellation. I don't know if you have
We
it.
have the Big
Orion.
Dipper.
The Big Dipper.
Okay,
Orion.
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 Yes.
Yes.
Orion. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Orion.
Yeah.
Like you look at the map and you're like trying to connect the dots. And when you look at the map and you look at the sky, you're like, okay, I see it because you imagine these lines matching the stars. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think that what Visions of Atlantis was before 2018 was a painting on the map on the atlas, of the stars that you could not really recognize over there.
Right.
And after 2018 it got so clear, like each of us has its own place over there. Each of us has its own role. Thomas is our manager, substantially. Thomas is the guy that he's the one behind the steering wheel that
Yeah.
drives the ship.
The engine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you have Herbert and Christian, and they are the ones that take care of the navigation. You can tell that the sails are all right because they make them all right. Like
Hmm.
their collaboration, they are the X-Men, of our band. What they do to make it work without any hesitation, without any issue, it's the stability and the background that they do. And then, of course, there is Clemmy, which is the messenger of the band with her lyrics, with her storytelling.
Hmm.
She's the one that creates this entire universe. And I'm basically the ship crafter, the one that crafts the ships with the music, And
Right.
before the five of us, this harmony was not there. And I
Wow.
think this also made a massive difference. And this is the reason why a lot of people, you included, are discovering Vision of Atlantis now, even
Mhm.
if it's a band that has 25 years on the paper.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
that right.
Absolutely. I didn't know that Visions of Atlantis had been going for so long when we met, when we first were introduced to you. And then we're like, oh my goodness, there's so much for us to catch up
Yeah.
on. So, and it's been such an amazing journey really getting into to Visions of Atlantis. And I love how your analogy of how everyone works on the ship with
As a
as a
constellation.
constellation. I think that's a beautiful way to look at it.
No, thank you. Yeah, storytelling is part of us. You can clearly tell.
You're a great
Absolutely.
storyteller. Again, love your enthusiasm. And what's so cool about your band and bands like symphonic metal genre is the tours and concerts are sometimes even better than the studio work. And right now you've been on tour life like crazy. And how much does it feel bringing your music to such diverse settings like Hellfest, North America, and Europe?
Well, it's honestly, that's where we belong. Like a musician starts making music to play it live. You see what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
Absolutely.
if you think about it, it's the business that created CDs. Back
Yes.
back in back in the days, music was meant to be played live. Then someone thought, "Hey, I can sell it. How do I sell it? Okay, let's find a way for people to listen to it so that they can re-listen and re-listen to it." But
Hmm.
music as born without the CDs, without the
Mhm.
physical copies. Like if you think of
Totally.
minstrels in the past, they were playing, or even the biggest musicians, Bach, Mozart, they were playing music live. There was no such thing as
Absolutely.
recordings
Recording.
back
Yeah.
there. And I believe that this is something that, from the musician's perspective, is really obvious because you start playing in your rehearsal room and you enjoy what you do to the point that you want to go to the next festival and you want to grow your band to the. You want to play to the biggest pub. You want to play to
Yeah.
the town festival. Like, hey, then there is this big I don't know, there is this big festival in the next region. Let's try to get there. And then you say, hey, but there is a country over there. And they, oh, but there is the world. So the goal of a musician is bringing your own music live. The
Yeah.
CD, the CD is something that you need to do because this is how you are discovered nowadays. But that's not where music belongs, in my opinion. I don't want to sound,
Yeah.
like I
I
don't want
hear
to
you though.
criticize the world of the music business and everything. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm totally at peace with it, and I admire the work that is behind the production of the CD, and I enjoy it so much. I've been a sound engineer myself. I've been
Oh
recording bands,
wow.
so this was my job, at a certain point. So I'm not gonna spit in the plate from which I'm eating.
Yeah.
But at the same time, music is live. Music is
Yes.
Mhm.
live. The goal of each musician is to play live. It's not about selling 500,000 copies or a million copies or whatever it is. Like the goal is to play shows. Mm.
Absolutely. To play live and to really be able to have that one-on-one connection with you and the people that are listening to you, it really is like a language in of itself. It's a vibe and an emotion that's being presented. So that's really cool to like even hear from a musician himself that like this is my goal is to make sure that I'm able to play live in front of every single sound space that I can to get my music out there because that is the end game when you're looking at it. It's what drives
I
you
mean,
forward.
we are human beings. Like life is
Yeah.
about sharing. It's about sharing with the next.
The
Like
experience. Yeah.
Exactly. Shared
this is this
experiences.
is this is everything. Like it's not only music. You go for a picnic, you do it alone, you do it with someone else. It's more enjoyable with someone else because you are sharing
Absolutely.
something.
Yeah.
Like you go to the cinema because it's a collective experience, and you live it in a different way. Yes, the society of nowadays, it's so much individuality based in a
Hmm.
way that it's even scary to me. Like kids
Hmm.
at school, sometimes they miss playing together because they are so focused on the cell phone or on
I
video games
agree.
on the
Hmm.
Switch or whatever it is. And this, in my opinion, it's scary. But then there are concerts where you see thousands of people all together there to live
In
in the
the moment.
present moment.
Hmm.
That's the beauty of life.
It's
You
beautiful.
see what I mean? Yeah.
And we've
Yeah.
never been to an actual festival, so I'm taking it from you that we better come out to the next Hellfest.
Well, Hellfest is. It was my first time too over
Was
there.
it?
You know, yeah, it was my first Hellfest ever. I've been to Wacken several times. I've been, to Rock Cars, Summer Breeze, all these big
Mm,
festivals. In Europe, we have so many. We are lucky.
yeah.
Like there are some big ones in the States, but they are more like more pop oriented, or
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
massive music oriented. It's there are just a few heavy metal festivals as far as I know, which it's a pity, because yeah, somehow the temple of metal is in Europe, and
I know.
yeah,
Hard for
The
us.
Temple of
you know
Metal. I like that.
that's exactly. It's not something nice to say, especially, but it is. It's true, and Hellfest is just fantastic. But pick any of these festival, look at the lineup, and leave the experience, because it's absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it.
Absolutely.
Good to know then. So, with all these amazing shows that you've been in, is there a show or a moment this year that generally caught you off guard or an incredible highlight?
This year,
Yeah.
specifically this year.
Or even for the North American tour and all that?
So listen, we played the Whiskey a Go Go, right, in Los Angeles,
Right?
and of course this is an iconic place. This is an iconic place
Yes.
because you know that those who wrote the history of rock and roll have been playing there. Like Slash played there,
Yeah.
LA Guns played there. So I
Big
have to
time.
say that it's not the biggest venue. Like it's, I think, 500 cup or something like this. 500 people is
Okay.
the maximum. You think of the Whiskey a Go, you would expect, like, oh, the Whiskey a Go. No, it's a
Intimate.
small venue. It's intimate, but the vibe that was there made me understand why that place is so iconic, because you can tell that even if they could treat any musician the way they want, because everyone wants to play a Whiskey a Go,
Right.
still the the hospitality over there was so accommodating, so nice, so welcoming, and that made me understand such like click on a moral point that I always keep with me, which is like the humbler you are, the
Hmm.
better it is for on every level. And these people prove that even in the music world, true professionals, they are there to enjoy, to make
Hmm.
things easy for everyone. There is no ego involved, no arrogance, nothing. It's sharing a beautiful day together for the best, for the purpose of making people having fun and enjoy the moment. And this is something that made me think back then, because again, sometimes these big festivals, they treat you really poorly, because they have
Again.
Hmm.
so many bands. They have so many bands that
Right.
they don't have, like the capacity, the human capacity to accommodate everything in the way sometimes that it should be. Sometimes they
Hmm.
tell you, hey, it's only one meal. The second one, you get it. And you expect, okay,
Oh,
come
right.
on, I'm playing the one of the biggest stages in the world, and I don't even have lunch and dinner. You see what I mean? But it is what it
Yeah.
is. You take
Hmm.
it, and we are totally fine, because in the end, you go to the festival, you enjoy the food festival, you help, the activities that are there.
Hmm.
So it's not really a problem. But sometimes it's not as rockstar life is not as fancy as one would expect, I would say. You see what I mean?
Everyone
But
wants to be a rock star till they become a rock star. They're like, wow, this is different than I expected.
absolutely, being a rockstar nowadays means poor sleep and not really healthy food. That's what it means being a rockstar nowadays. But at the same time, you travel the world and you enjoy, and this is fantastic.
Exactly.
And that night at the whiskey, I truly understand that true professionals, like it clicked, like true professionals, they are there to make things easy for everyone. And this is
Hmm.
great.
Wow. So those are
Love
people
that.
you wouldn't realize have a lot to do to get the bands on stage to make them have a good performance. So you're shouting out to people, making it good for the bands to even have a good moment in there. And you also mentioned that you found a way to be in the moment better at that venue. And something that happened to us while we were watching you perform is we didn't even bring out our cell phone. And traditionally,
Yeah.
we're like vloggers, we have a channel, we want to get some things going, but we were so caught in the moment
I
with you
don't have a
guys.
single picture
We
at
didn't even
that
have a video or a picture. And for you, that is your goal. And that's
in the
for us,
moment,
that wasn't our goal. We
100%.
wanted to get some cameras, but you took us in the moment. So I think you really achieved what you want to do.
Oh, that's so great to hear. That's so great to hear, man. Like that's fantastic, isn't it? Like when you are sometimes times fly, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you are so much into it, like an hour seems like 10 minutes. And you don't even think, oh, at the end you're like, okay, oh, I didn't take any picture because it was so fast, so enjoyable.
Didn't even get the
So if this
lobster.
happened,
Yeah.
if this happened with us, then I can only be super proud of what we did and super happy for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, it was a great show.
And just one more question before our next segment here. Have fans changed over the pandemic? And have your pirate visuals expanded live?
So fans have changed in for the better after the
Nice.
pandemic.
Very
Great.
cool.
At least this is our experience because before the pandemic, I felt like people were less craving for shows compared to what's happening right now. At least this is my experience in Europe. I don't know if it's the same in the States, but what I see is that the pandemic taught people that everything can be gone without expecting it in like
Mhm.
48 hours because it
Yeah.
was really 48 like
Just happened.
announcement and 48 hours we were locked in our at our places, in our flats. And what I feel is that people right now don't hesitate anymore to go to the show because if they see that this is happening, they are going there because tomorrow they might not be able to do it
You
again.
got that right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Taking
Yeah.
advantage.
And this makes people enjoy shows even more compared to what was going before. I see a lot of happy faces. So I see a lot of people having fun and enjoying what they are doing at concerts. And before, it's not like it wasn't this, it wasn't they were it's not like they were not enjoying what they were doing, but
Mhm.
I feel like there was a bit of a disconnection. Now it's so direct, so magic, I would say.
Magic.
I'm not gonna say thanks to the pandemic. I'm not gonna say thanks to the
No.
No.
pandemic. This is not this
Never say that.
this
Flipping that
this is
part.
not this is not gonna happen. But I'm happy that people realized the relevance of living life outside of the
Yeah.
computer, the screen, and everything else.
I
For
think
musicians, you know.
it alludes to what you're saying, where if you just listen to music digitally, then your music was meant to be performed live. So when everyone was listening to it so digitally in that
They
pandemic
almost
era,
took advantage, took
it did urge you to want to go. As soon as the pandemic was
Mhm.
done, we've been seeing concerts ever since. So for sure.
Yeah, I literally had
Mm.
never, I think I mentioned this before, I'd never seen a concert until I hit my 30s. And now, and then that was after the pandemic. And now it's like, no, we got to go and see these concerts. We have to see these bands live because when am I going to get a chance to do this again? They're in my area now. Let's go. So, like, that really has been a change. And I think mentality for a lot of people is how are we going to live life to the fullest now because we had it taken away once?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. Even myself, I am going to more concerts than before. And not only mine, of course, not only my show.
Staying longer at the festivals.
Watching Dream Theater at the end until 1 in the morning because you just got to get it done.
Yeah, 140, 140. It was
140.
140.
it was a late show. It was a late show.
Talking about albums and live performances, you have Armada live over Europe coming out July 4th. How do you decide what moments make the final cut for your live album?
Oh, that's actually an easy question because we just took the entire set list
Nice.
of the Armada tour in Europe. This record was not really planned to be a record. Like
Oh,
our idea was, okay, since we've had an exceptional tour, it was at the moment that was the biggest tour for Vision of Atlantis so far in Europe.
congrats, man.
There was
Congratulations.
massive enthusiasm of the fans, and we always record every night, to re-listen to yourself. It's like
Nice,
You know,
smart.
when you
Hmm.
play a sport, someone records the game so that the trainer can, you know, show the mistakes to the guys or the pros, not only necessarily the mistakes, you know.
That's cool to hear
um
that.
we do the same. We record the shows because sometimes it's worth to listen what's happening here, what was happening there. So we recorded every night, and our video maker during the show was recording some songs here and there. And
Hmm.
at a certain point during the tour, we were like, you know what? Let's record one song per show following the set list,
Oh,
and
cool.
Oh, cool.
let's put it online on YouTube. And this is what we did. It's the video is already fully out on YouTube. There is a
Hmm.
playlist that goes from I think from Vienna to Graz. This was the first
Wow.
and last show of the tour, and we have almost one song per country in which we played, or almost one song per city in
So
which we
cool.
played for the 17 songs that we played during the set list of the tour. And at a certain point, everything was online, everything is on Spotify, and the label was like, well, why don't we release this physically for collectors, especially, you know?
Of course.
And,
Yeah,
and we were like, well, why not? So that's the reason why this album is being released. You know, it's limited,
So
of
cool.
course, in it's very limited in terms of vinyls and in terms of special editions. And then as long as there will be requests, the label will repress it, because this is how it works. You know, like if you think of old CDs, they are still
Right.
being repressed because there is
hmm,
requests, like Nevermind from Nirvana, or you know, like any record from Queen, Brave New World from Iron Maiden, like these records, they will be bought forever and ever and ever. The Black Album from Metallica, you know, like,
Oh
so
yeah.
as long as there is request, whoever has the copyrights on the record will keep on printing it, you know. So
Right.
maybe in the case of this live album, we only sell, I don't know, 1,000 copies, but that's not the point, you know. The point is having it out, and as long as collectors wants it, they have a physical edition.
absolutely.
But
Incredible.
originally, the goal was just to release it digitally.
Very cool.
That's so cool because then we get to travel with you through Europe and you're getting a song per city. Like that's so smart. Honestly, great fan service there.
It
And
really is.
it mostly was for the fans, you know. Like as I
Yeah.
said, we put it online without not even asking for a crowdfunding or else, you know. Like
Right.
it's out. You go on YouTube, it's already out, and whoever wants to support the band buys the CD. That's it.
Right.
I love that. That's such a
100%.
great way to do that. It's a really cool style because then, like you said, it's for the collectors, the people who are really there, the diehards who want to be able to have this, be like, look what I got. And that's us. We're definitely the look what I got people. So does this feel like a defining moment in Visions of Atlantis's career, where you're at now and kind of going to Hellfest and what's going to be going on in your future?
So I tend to keep my feet on the ground and
Well done.
leave and really cherish the moment as long as it lasts. You know, like I never think of the future because this world is just difficult for several reasons.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I've started performing, playing in the pubs of my city, as I was mentioning before, and I was singing covers, you know. Then this band noticed me and they asked me to join. And then it happened that another band noticed me and asked me to join. Then a band from Rome, which is 650 kilometers from where I live, noticed me and asked me, hey, do you want to join? It was like my first band outside of my city. And I was like, hey, let's try
Wow.
this adventure. And with them, for the first time, I went to the UK, for instance, or I toured outside of Europe, you know. And you know, as as much as there are so many beautiful memories in my background, I also got burned so many times
But really?
that
Mm,
it's truly it's just normal, you know.
Hmm.
It's just it is what it is. And I think it's extremely important to keep in mind that nothing is given for any band at any time, you know.
Right.
I'm
mhm.
sure that Nightwish and Epica, they reach a level in which they will it's extremely impossible, in my opinion, they will fall from
Of
one day.
course.
Even if they release
Mm.
the worst record ever, they have such hits in their history that
They
nothing
continue
can
on.
take them down.
Yeah.
Nothing
Mhm.
can take. I will keep on going to Epica's concert to listen to Unleashed, for
You
instance,
can.
and I will keep on going to Nightwish concert to listen to Nemo and all, like all the great songs that they wrote. Like I could
Absolutely.
list so many, for
We can fan it
minutes
out.
and minutes. Yeah. So they have masterpieces, and I'm sure that they will write new ones. But even if not, people will keep on listening to what they
Mhm.
did. A band like us, we are riding the wave at the moment, but
Yeah.
we don't know what's going to happen next. So who cares? I
Great.
enjoy what I'm doing. I'm living a childhood dream in this moment.
Yeah.
Like I've
Yep.
been watching bands from the pit. I've been looking at stages, admiring my idols, and I'm
Right.
now I'm on these stages. So I can only be grateful, and I don't care what's going to happen next. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, I'm doing what I want.
And we believe that we
I
can
love
see it in
that.
there. And for us, we sometimes live in the past, in the future too much. And metal itself always has that message to live in the present. And I think that's why a lot of people are gravitating to metal right now with how crazy the world is. It's all the people behind it are such grounded people. And that's what I've, outside of the music and how great it is, you guys have just helped really level me and get me centered
Ground
again. They
people's
grounded me.
souls.
So thank you with all your great messages behind your music too.
No, my again, it's our mission in a way. It's a vocation. So thank you for saying it, and we can only be happy of hearing it.
Good.
Amazing. I have another question here. What do you personally enjoy most about this era of your music? And do you have any set list challenges that come around, and how do you combat those?
So the Tetris challenge, I just leave one. It's performing with 38 degrees, 36 degrees Celsius, which
Oh
I don't know
man.
Oh
what's the
man,
correspondent. I don't know what does it correspond in Fahrenheit, but it's freaking warm here. Like
Not
yeah,
fun.
it's
Hellfest,
not fun.
Hellfest was hell. And I have to say that singing, jumping with velvet coat, hats, and everything, and the pirate attire under these temperatures, that's the real challenge. Because when we write songs,
Yeah.
when we write songs, we write them in a way that are highlighting what we are capable of. We don't write songs that are too high, too challenging, too or at the same time we don't write songs that are too low, too weak. We try
Mhm.
to write
Mhm.
what fits best our way of singing, Clemmy and I, the musicianship of the guys. We don't play blast beats because
Yes.
this is not Thomas' strength. Thomas' strength is being on point and super powerful in his
Yes.
straight hits, and he does it
Mhm.
so well that it would be stupid to put him in discomfort. We're not kids, we're not 18. We don't say to each other, "Hey, in a couple of years you will master this." We are developed musicians with our
Right.
own capabilities. You
Hmm.
Mhm.
don't have Blink 182 playing Master of Puppets from Metallica. Maybe they
Maybe
know
they
how to
could.
do it.
Yeah.
Maybe they could, but you don't give them, a song from Dream Theater. You don't give them "Pull Me Under,"
No, you
because
don't.
this is not their strength. Their strength is super direct song with
Hmm.
this happy and fun mood. Our power stays in knowing what to do with our own musicianship and transforming it into our song. So playing a song for us should never be a challenge because otherwise
Right.
something went wrong in the songwriting.
I like
But
that.
I like that too.
but 38 degrees Celsius with a velvet coat and a pirate hat and a bandana, that is the real.
That's that sounds like a real challenge. I know when we saw you playing live, even at the Dickens, and it got quite warm in there itself. I could see the sweat, right? So like I could imagine 38 degrees outside. No, thank you.
Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Uh, the other question, like, what do I enjoy the most is, at the same time, this pirate game also lives inside of us. Like when I put on my clothes, I am not myself anymore. I am Meek the pirate. You see what I mean?
I
And
totally.
it's like role. I don't know if you role play. I don't know if you like
I
role
have.
playing games and
We've
stuff
done
like
Dungeons
this.
and Dragons.
For instance, like
Yeah.
uh, this is really cool because it takes you away also from your reality for a while. And when I
Yeah.
when I when I get on stage, like I can unleash whatever I want from myself because I'm that character. I'm that other version
An
of
avatar in a
myself
way.
that can do things that in my real life I cannot do because I'm in front of a screen right now. I'm in my office during the day. Like my mind
Totally.
is in the present there and is in the present on stage, but on stage I can be different. I can unleash whatever it's inside of me. And this is fantastic. This is just fantastic.
And your
Amazing.
stage persona matches who you are in real life, I think, very well too. So what they are seeing on stage also is a lot of your energy and all that. But it does help. Like we're called Enter the Chronic. So my name's Kyle, but I go as Chronic. And if I'm chronic, it's sometimes easier to talk to people I admire in my mind, like you're saying. So
For sure. And also, you can't in your real life, not everything can be said in the same way that you would say it with your persona. You see what I
yes.
mean? I'm not
Yeah.
saying I don't want to enter edgy topics.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I say, the words I say on stage with the microphone in front of my mouth, they
Hmm.
matter more because there is more people listening to them. I
Yes.
I know
Responsibility.
I have an impact and responsibility. So I can tell things, even in this interview, I can say things that people will listen to. And it's way different if I tell them to my friends, to my mother,
Yeah.
to my acquaintance, because when you talk to others, it's one value. What I'm saying right now, what I say on stage will stay forever in the mind, in the memories of people that have been there or that will watch this interview. And
Hmm.
this makes a difference because like we also have a role in society as musicians. We
Yeah.
can be we see it. We see people that dress up the way we do because they are inspired. They
Hmm.
do things that we talk about in our songs because our songs are inspiring. So
Hmm.
this is dangerous on one side, but
Hmm.
it's really positive on the other side if the message you carry, it's an ideal that can help. And this is a massive responsibility
It is.
that
Hmm.
allows that character to speak and talk in a way that Michele here could not do with the same efficiency.
Right. And Michele
Right.
is how you say your name properly?
Yeah, this is my name. Yeah, Michele. Michele.
Awesome. Thank you. I wanted to know
We were
that.
spending a little bit of time last night being like, how do we pronounce his name? Everyone says Meek. We'll go with Meek.
Yeah.
Make us the right way.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Michele, I like that.
So we're talking about some fan connections, some merch, and what's next as one of the last segments we have here. And this has been a great conversation with you so far, Meek. Question here. With an amazing assortment of merch bundles right now, do you have a few pieces that fans are vibing with or that you wish more fans were checking out?
No, so we are totally happy with what our fans are doing with the merch because like sometimes we're like, okay, aren't we overdoing it? Like, because sometimes it feels like, okay,
Right.
you're begging for money. You see what I mean? But at the very end of
Mhm.
the day, if there is a request and people buy it, then it's not like we're pointing a gun towards the head of anyone. So
No.
and at the same time, it's part of what makes things work because it's through the income that we have through merch and everything that we can proceed with better videos, better recordings, and
Mhm.
everything else. So, but sometimes there is a sense of guilt that it's probably wrong, but it's there. Like we are humans, and we question what we do. So there is definitely nothing that I regret in terms of amount of merch or stuff like this.
Right.
But I've noticed that there is the I don't know if you saw the 8-bit shirt that we just released.
Yes.
Yeah.
people went People went freaking crazy for that shirt. Like we were like, okay, let's do it for fun. The idea was to recall, I don't know if you know the video game Monkey Island.
Yes.
it's an
Absolutely.
old
Old one.
it's an old super old one, point and click, like an adventure game.
Computer one.
And
Yeah.
it's all exactly, it was like I used to play this game on the
That's so funny.
486 of my father. We're talking about 92, 93 or something like this. And the pirates in the video game are all pixelish, just like the ones that we put on the shirt. Well, people went crazy for the shirt.
I get the connection
Like
now.
we brought a stock at Hellfest, so I swear, normally festivals are not where you sell merch.
Right.
Normally, at festivals, people buy the festival merch, Like they want a shirt with written Hellfest, with written Wacken, with written Summer Breeze, or whatever, Prog Power. You see what I mean? And
Right.
it's rare that you do really well at merch at festivals because you have to compete with 200 other bands and the festival itself.
That makes
Normally you sell
sense.
good merch at the shows. Well, the 8-bit shirt went sold out. Like all the stock that we brought
Wow.
to Hellfest went sold out. And we're like, okay, that tells you something.
That
And,
sure
and it
does.
does, it
It
does, it
does
does
tell
tell
you
you
something.
something. Like
Yeah.
people want to have fun. Like
They want to have
it's
fun.
like
That's it.
Yeah. And that's such a
it's the
fun
most
shirt.
it is it's the most silly shirt we've ever done. We normally wear like always super serious, super, like captivating
Like
designs,
this.
like exactly, that's our style,
Yeah.
so you don't expect this band to offer an 8-bit shirt. We did it, and it's going to sell out in all the shows. So like, okay, good, good.
Yeah.
Message received. Message received.
Stay
We like to
tuned.
have fun and listen to pirate metal, and this is how we are, and we love it. Good
Next shirt
vibes
is going
all
to
the
be
way
pink.
around. Pink, I'll buy
Please.
it,
Oh my
please. Oh
God.
my God. Pirate metal with pink, I'm all over that.
See,
This is just a simple one. How does it feel seeing fans around the world wearing your artwork and your tour tees?
pleasant. This is definitely pleasant. But again, it's pleasant because there is a connection. It's not pleasant because I don't look at you and think, I got $35 from that
Right?
shirt. No, that's not.
I didn't think so.
Even if I'm a pirate, I'm not thinking about the loot here.
You're,
No,
you're
what
not
what I
guarding
what I
your
love is
treasure
the
chest.
exactly. No, what I love is that there is clearly a connection. That you found something and you're probably showing that you
Yes.
found a connection with the music that we are writing. That's the dream of any musician, I think, because it's the goal is achieved.
Yep.
You make music for people. If people are so much into it, then they decide to wear your logo and bring it forward so that other people can see it. It means that the goal has been achieved. Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely. That's so true because like by that is a goal to be able to have people sharing your music with everyone else and being able to push that forward because that's what you're striving for is to share your music as yourself and also for others to do it as well. I have a question. I know you said you don't think too much into the future. You like to live in the moment and keep your feet grounded. But we're wondering what's next for you, either personally or with Visions of Atlantis? Anything that fans should be watching out for later this year or early 2026?
Oh, so early 2026, we already announced a tour. So this
Right.
is not even
Yes.
thinking like this. This is happening. It's already
Let's
it's
go
already
down here.
announced, and it's our first co-headlining tour because we never did any co-headline run. Oh no, yes, we did one with Sandria in 2022.
Ooh.
That's actually a thing in Europe. It's the most recent co-headline tour that we announced. It was a while that we were only headlining or being supporting someone
Mhm.
else, and now
Right.
we got back into it. Workings, it's a
With
European band. They are
Workings.
also dressed up. Yeah, exactly, exactly. They
Yeah.
are dressed up as Crusaders, Viking. Like it's
Yeah.
they are the king of war, the kings of the ancient war. Of course, there is a
Genghis Khan
centurion
one.
like the Roman. Exactly,
Love it.
exactly. So it's a good match in terms of gimmick, and they are friends of ours since years and years. Like
Really?
it's yeah, yeah, yeah. I know Georg, the singer, since I don't know, at least 10 years or something like this.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And I'm constantly chatting with Chris, the bass player. Like we truly are buddies. Like we literally write every day, every day. There is no day since I don't know a couple
Wow.
years that we don't write to each other. So this is
Very
like a
cool.
true friendship tour. It's not only two bands of the same label being put together and going on the road for promotional reason. This is like true buddies going on the
Cool.
road
So
going on the road
cool.
together, which is exciting, because when you go on the road with someone and that you have fun with these
Oh,
people,
jeez.
and this is a massive power point. Sometimes, when you get on the road and you have this band touring with you and you don't know the band, you're like, okay, what it's gonna be like.
No
And
kidding on the downtime.
don't think that it's always a good experience, because sometimes life behind the scenes
Oh,
can
totally.
be difficult. I'm not gonna mention who, I'm not gonna mention when, but a band we've been touring with, they were so freaking stinky that
Oh,
they made a tour bus unlivable.
oh,
It
geez.
was impossible to live there. Like, and sleeping in the tour bus was a pain, and it completely destroyed the mood,
Oh,
because
that's a mood killer.
Wow.
Yeah.
like the tour bus is your house while you're on the
Yeah.
road.
And they're
So imagine going.
small.
They are. So, I mean, they are big, but you're 20 people inside of it, you know? So
Yeah, that's a cramped space.
imagine going there, and it's like a moldy kitchen in which you are forced to cook. You see what I mean? Like,
Oh,
it's
Ugh.
this,
I get you.
and this can truly destroy the experience on the road. Like,
I
if you
bet.
don't get along with the people you are touring with, it's a problem. In this case, it's the opposite. We know them, we love them, we
So
know it's gonna
cool.
be it's gonna be like, I'm not gonna say it's a holiday, because it's never a holiday, but the vibe, I know by default that it's gonna be great.
And is this just Europe?
It's
The tour?
so for now, yes.
Right.
Now I think it's on the fans to scream loud to bring the tour
We'll get screaming.
everywhere else in the world. Exactly, exactly. I would honestly love to keep this format and bring it to the States, but of course this
Has to work.
doesn't. I mean,
Mhm.
to the States, to North America, of course,
Hmm.
Canada, and hopefully Mexico too.
Of
Sometimes
course.
it's
Great
we
shows
get
down
a lot
there.
of treaties, because like people keep on saying, "Hey, Mexico is North America too. Mexico is North America too. Is
Yeah.
Central America," but it's not as easy to travel back and forth through Mexico
Yeah.
as it is for the other for Canada and the States, of course.
Right.
So,
That makes
but
sense.
it would be truly, truly fantastic. This Pirates and Kings, this is the name of the tour,
Oh,
to
cool.
bring
Oh,
it
cool.
overseas. Like, I think it will be an achievement for both bands.
Both
So
bands. Yeah.
let's see what happens. I honestly, it's like talking about the air right now. It's
Fair enough.
But cool. Shout out to Working, says we definitely got to go check them out. They've been on our radar, and you've definitely let us know we should check them out too, especially you're going to go tour with them.
Yeah, I noticed that when a band comes to North America for the first time, the whole market changes.
Right. I
This
Yes.
is what
bet.
happened to us. Like the first time we came with Dragon Force in 2022, actually, right after the pandemic,
Wow.
that
Mhm.
put us on the radar overseas. And since then, we were resilient in keeping on coming, despite all the struggles, especially with the US visa,
Yeah, I
which
bet.
is
Yeah.
everyone knows about it. But we've been fighting, we've been, as I said, resilient, and we
Hmm.
kept on coming. And now we've been there 5 times
Wow.
in the
Wow.
last 5 times in 4 years. So
That's a
it's,
lot.
and now we end up headlining Prog Power Day One in September in Atlanta,
Nice.
and
Oh,
the last headline run had amazing numbers. So it's, once a band makes it to come overseas,
hmm.
then things become easier if you are tough and you keep on going. And I think
Right.
this would do
Absolutely.
well also to Workings, to start opening the market over there, since they never been touring there.
And
That's
they've
why I'm
never
saying
been there.
this.
Wow.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Good to
That'd be
know.
Yet,
so cool.
Yes, yes.
Yet being the key word,
yet.
yet. They haven't been here yet. And that's so cool to even hear about how the market kind of changes because like you had mentioned that the I forget what you called it, but basically the metal is in Europe. That's kind of where it
Like
lives.
the throne or
The
something.
metal throne or whichever it was is in Europe. And over
The temple,
here,
yeah. I
the
think I said
metal
the temple,
temple.
yeah.
Yeah, the metal temple is in Europe. And over here, we are very pop heavy, with a bit of rock and country sprinkled in, but not as much metal heavy over in North America to the same extent. So it's been really cool having a lot of these amazing, like yourself, European metal bands coming over and then really changing our market as well on a musical front because now we're getting a lot more metal fans. We're getting a lot more even kids going into metal, wanting to learn instruments, wanting to like progress on a musical standpoint where they didn't necessarily think about that originally just with pop music or electronic music, because now you guys have been bringing in physical instruments into kids' radar. Like we have a 2-year-old now who's been headbanging and trying to play guitar poorly, but
See, oh, that's amazing.
He's
right?
going
So
That is
in.
like
amazing.
he's going in. And that's something that I have actually noticed as a lot of bands like yourself are coming over into North America since 2020 and onward, is how much you guys are influencing the younger generation to really expand their musical ideals into what is possible. And I think that really has to do with your niche and what you're bringing into the forefront and being very cinematic and very into that fan service as well. Um, would you like to elaborate on any other musical endeavors that you are kind of getting into so viewers can connect with you beyond just stage personas or um, like that?
Well, what can I say? Like, I think that music is therapy. You see what I mean? Like, music is
Mm-hmm.
therapeutic. So
Yes.
it's everyone should try and play music. Like when you spoke about the 2 years old kid getting into guitars, I think, like this is a beautiful thing just because
Hmm.
it's music goes beyond imagination. Music goes beyond uh
Language.
thinking. Yeah, language, thinking. It's when I write songs, it's not myself sitting on the computer and looking at numbers and trying to find combinations. It's something that comes from the outside that I
Yeah.
I am a messenger. You see what I mean? I receive it from somewhere.
The
I hear
muse.
it in my brain, and I bring it to the
Mm-hmm.
to the like to my computer first, and then to the world through my to the Visions of Atlantis records, or all my other musical endeavors, as you said, like as you
Yes.
were you've been
Mm-hmm.
using this word. I think that this is a sort of experience that is so healthy, and I wish that music therapy would be more known all over the world and would be
Hmm.
more experienced. Like in general, I don't know how it is over there, but in Europe, either you decide to become a musician and to enter the journey of music, or your family because they want you to try and play piano. But if there isn't someone that triggers this entire path, this entire journey, it's not advertised. You don't see it on television. Television doesn't tell you, hey, play guitar, like ads on YouTube don't tell you try an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
They focus on what you already are into. That's the big problem of advertisement in the
I
life
agree.
of today,
Yeah.
and then you have food advertisement, Hoover's advertisement, and whatever it is, on the commercials on the TV. Um, what I wish for is a world where music is perceived not only as a consumer thing, as something
Hmm.
that you need to consume, but as something that you can experience. Like I wish that everyone would be a bit of a musician. You see what I mean? I'm
I
I'm not sure
totally
if
Do,
do.
I'm 100%
absolutely.
answering the question, but I think this is like mm, the statement that I want to bring forward at the moment. Like everyone should try, and this can help with autism. This can help with social
Yes.
skills. This
Yes.
can help with self confidence. Like so
Mm-hmm.
many
Yes.
so many people lack of confidence, and with an instrument, learning, improving, they learn resilience because you make mistakes. You
No kidding.
fight
Yes.
this mistake, trying and trying and trying, and then you achieve it, and you discover the happiness of having achieved something that you've been pursuing for a while when you finish learning a song that has been
Mm-hmm.
difficult to learn. You see what I mean? And
Yeah.
at the same time, autistic people, music is for autistic people.
I'm so glad you brought
Yeah,
that up. I'm so glad you brought that
I'm
up.
because
so glad.
because you need to be like autism somehow is not a deficit anymore, but becomes something good because you
Yeah.
can
Mm-hmm.
enter your universe. You can play music in your own world even if it's
Hmm.
disconnected, but you find a way to connect to who's listening to you. You find a way to
Yes.
connect with others. So you see what I mean? There is so much in the world of music that is unsaid because the music business tells you buy the CD, go to the concert and limits it to this, dress up like that band. This is not what music is about. This is the consequence of the fast food nations that we are living into. But that's not the
Yeah.
message. That's not the
Mhm.
message. And I believe that the biggest musical endeavor for anyone is discovering its own self through music and growing as a person through music,
Mhm.
because music has this power, and this
It
is too
does.
many times unsaid. I hope that this is
It does,
That's
absolutely.
the best answer, honestly. Like it's even
I was
emotional for us. Honestly, you answered it perfectly. We're trying to find out who you were more as a person. You're saying music is therapy itself. You also brought up autism, where we have our 2-year-old that is going to get screening for that because we don't know if he has it or not. But the amount of therapy that we're already seeing with him when he's running for that guitar, it's in a case and he's unzipping it and he just
He's
wants to
pulling the
hit the
guitar out
strings
and
and
play.
it's giving them full relaxation mode. So it's just so cool to see the power of music itself. And it's a sacred science. It goes all the way back to our history. It's real power behind music. So that's why it
Mhm.
is a message. It's as powerful as language. So I just think that was really awesome how you tied that all together because music therapy itself, I think, is the key out of that statement.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's ethereal. It's hard to describe, as I said. It's music lives in a. It's like a sixth sense, that you live with, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to describe and to put in words because it's, yeah, just complicated, but it's there and you feel it. Sometimes we cry because of music.
All the
Why are
time,
we
man.
crying? You see what I mean? Why is it happening? What is triggered inside of us? But there is something, and we are talking about waves that are transported in the air and that reach our
Mhm.
body. But there is more. It's not only science. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
so much
There's some
more.
spiritual behind it or whatever you want to call it, right?
It
Uh,
is. I know. I've cried so many times listening to music because of those vibrations that you're talking about and what they do. And when you're live at a concert and you're experiencing not just the vibrations through your headphones, but the vibrations that are actually hitting your heart and hitting your soul, it is a whole different level of experiencing the music that really is therapy in of itself. So like when we've gone to concerts, we see people having those emotional like moments where you can watch them be healed in that concert from the things that they're going through because of these vibrations of the music that are just breaking down the walls that they've built up. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's it. Like people make you scream, music makes you scream, music makes you laugh, music makes you cry, music gives you chills. Like it's
Yeah,
so much, and it's happen. Where is it? It's not sight, it's not taste, it's
yeah.
there, it's somewhere in the air. You see what I mean?
exactly.
And hey, this has been a great talk. It's already been over an hour. Thank you so much for your
Oh,
time, Meek. And we
you're
have a
welcome.
we have a quick fire question segment if you want to indulge us here.
Let's do
Whatever
it. I'm
whatever
ready.
comes to your head, just say it out real quick, okay?
Okay.
Symphonic ballad or pirate anthem?
Pirate Anthem,
La-
100%.
Last song stuck in your head.
Unleashed from Epica. I think I mentioned it already before.
You
Yeah.
have, yes.
Amazing. Favorite city to perform in? Don't think, just say it.
Rome.
Beautiful.
Perfect, beautiful.
Clementine on stage in 3 words.
So grace, elegance, and charm.
Oh, I love that.
Vinyl, CD, or digital?
Vinyl, 100%.
If Visions of Atlantis were a
Wait,
movie,
wait, wait. Let me say one thing more.
please do.
Yes,
Vinyl is not only a piece of music; it's also a piece of art.
it
Yes,
You can
is.
hang it on the wall, and it's a portrait.
you
You
got that
can
right.
listen to it, and it contains music. it's
Well
and
said.
you get the feeling of having something that belongs to you. You see what I mean? So
Hmm.
Absolutely.
that's why I don't even hesitate in this question, because vinyl is the real format for music. Like this is like what gives you something that you own and
Hmm.
that it's yours, and it completes every field of art. It's not only, like the CD is the pocket
Absolutely.
version.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
I think most artists would say that too, probably vinyl.
Mm. I
Oh,
hope so.
you hope so, right? Okay. If Visions of Atlantis were a movie, what genre would you be?
Genre.
Yeah,
What
like
genre?
what
I
genre?
was like um ad adventure, like
Adventure? Yeah, yeah,
Adventure?
adventure. There you
yeah,
Yeah.
an adventure,
Yeah,
like in
that's
Indiana Jones style. Like
yeah,
just
Love
yeah.
that.
Okay. Sorry, that
awesome.
is like
It's all good.
processing into my language and then translating it.
You did it perfect.
Perfect.
We were gonna ask you what movie, but I think Pirates of the Caribbean would have been obvious there. But anyways, um, crowd surfing or pyros?
Virus.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Virus.
What's something fans would be surprised to know you love?
Pineapple.
Pineapple on pizza?
Not on pizza,
Okay,
but
good.
that's the point. It's my favorite fruit. It's
Is it?
absolutely my favorite. It's my favorite fruit. But like there is this legend about Italian and pineapple on pizza that creates a barrier, and people think that we don't like pineapple, but I love pineapple.
Good to know. I love
Just
pineapple
not
too.
on pizza.
Just not on pizza, exactly. Keep it away from pizza. It's sweet.
Okay. Um, Dream Festival or one band you'd kill to share the stage with?
Avantasia.
Avantasia.
Nice.
Avantasia.
Yeah, great pick. If you had to name the next Visions of Atlantis album with just one word, what would it be? I know that's not your favorite.
Iris 3.
Pirates 3.
Keep the thing going.
That's easy. No, I mean, it's not even to be taken for granted, but it's like if you ask me the first thing that comes to my mind, and I go with the obvious best.
Go for the trilogy,
Love
man.
it. The trilogy.
Well, thank you so much, Meek. That was all of our
Actually,
questions that we
actually,
have.
I will tell you this because it's funny. Like
Please.
the band is formerly from Austria,
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
okay, and the titles of our records were like Wanderers, Pirates. So at a certain point, we were mocking on the fact that we could do, hey, what if pirates go to space? And we call them astronauts.
Astronauts. Nice,
I
Meek.
love that.
Way to lean in on that one.
This is this is not gonna happen, but it's
Why
fun, and
not?
I,
It's
I
fun.
felt
It's
it
a
was
great.
astronauts. Please, some fun band like Eskimo Cowboy or someone, please listen
Yeah.
to this and release a record called Astronauts, please.
I love that.
Thank you so much for all this time. We got you through Napalm Records, and they were telling me to go check out War King, so I just thought that was really cool that you guys are touring together, and it was another good reason to go check them out too. So thanks for
Absolutely, bring them in, bring them in.
yeah, but thanks for all your energy and great answers and all the extra time. We didn't know how much we had, but this went phenomenal. So thank you.
And hey, when it's fun, right?
You got that right,
You got
brother.
that right.
We hope to see you again, and maybe we'll come to Europe if you don't come to North America.
Oh, well, man, if there is no reason why we should not come to North America, please.
Come
It's
to
just a matter of time.
Victoria.
Like I hope we will come with workings, but if not,
Mhm.
I'm sure that Visions of Atlantis will be back. There is absolutely no way. Like we've been working hard for 4 years. There is no reason to stop it.
Of course.
Of course, of
Where,
course.
where are you in September with like the band or yourself?
So we have a cruise in Europe.
Ooh,
After the Prog Power, we go home and we have a show with Hammerfall in Italy, actually. And then
Very cool.
there is this Full Metal cruise and a couple shows in Finland. It's our first time in Scandinavia, in Finland, especially as
really?
headliners.
Oh,
So yeah,
cool.
yeah. So it's gonna be another territory where we didn't play before that is going to be opened up, hopefully. So yeah.
That's in
September,
September-ish? Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
Nice.
yeah.
cool. We are going to be in Amsterdam in September, so we'll be in Europe in there. So we were kind of curious where you were going to be. So
That's why we're asking.
Yeah,
that's why we're asking.
Sweden, basically. No,
Great.
Finland and the Northern Sea.
Cool. That's
Very
amazing.
cool.
Too bad because in September, Powerwolf and Dragon Force are touring together in the States, right?
Are they?
Are they? Oh, we missed that.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
we're going to see Arian's 30th anniversary.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
that
so that's pretty up there
That's pretty
too.
that's
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Arian
and
Lucas, and yeah, Uh,
Absolutely.
he is a
Another,
genius, right?
He's a big
he
dude.
really is. We got to interview him um about a year ago now,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
and that was really cool. He had COVID at the time, and he still came on for the interview like this. So that was he was
Wow.
he's a trooper.
No, and I mean, I've only heard great things about him. Is seems to be the sweetest person in the world.
He
So
is.
He truly
I'm
is.
sure you will enjoy. Actually, I had the ticket for what was the name of they filmed the DVD a couple of years ago.
Oh,
Um,
at Tilburg one, the 013 or whatever.
yeah, exactly. At the O13, at the
Right.
O13.
Yeah.
The Flight of the Migrator was something like this. I don't remember. I
It's
don't
not,
remember.
I
No,
can't remember right now
I
either.
don't remember. I
but
know that
they
that one was that the one that was narrated by the Q?
No, I think
No,
it's
that was the Castle.
Electric Castle.
but
Electric Castle.
anyways,
Yeah.
they were filming the DVD at O13 in the Netherlands, and I had the tickets, and I had to sell them because we got some shows with Visions
Nice.
of Atlantis, and I was like, man, it's always the same. Whenever I book something, I end up.
Your
I
own
mean,
thing comes in.
of course, I'm happy. It's not like I was unhappy, but like
You're
that
a fan,
I
right?
But you're a true fan.
I never saw I over there is basically the entire discography of Arian. So
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I never managed to see them live yet.
Jeez.
Yeah.
We'll let you know how it is, I guess.
And
I
that night, there was Tommy Karvik, Damian Wilson with them, Flory Jansen with them.
Yeah, just incredible, right?
It was just a fantastic lineup.
Yeah, we're really excited to go. I'm really excited because I've never been overseas. I think I've left Canada once to go to no, twice, once to the States and once to Mexico to see Dream Theater and Epica. And now I'm leaving my continent for the very first time. So I'm really excited for that.
Wow. So it sounds silly maybe, but one of the things I enjoy the most is the flight.
Is the
Yeah.
flight? Oh, I
Intercontinental,
love the flight.
yeah, intercontinental flights are so pleasant to me. Like I know some people are super scared, or some people find them super uncomfortable. And I'm not traveling business class, just to make it clear.
Right.
It's, but I find it so cool. Like you have time for yourself without cell phone, without anything else.
That's just it, right?
Bring a good book. You have great movies over there. You can
Yeah.
immerse yourself in your own universe and enjoy.
Are you a window or an aisle person?
I'm a window person.
Window.
Yeah,
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 I'm a window person.
same.
Yeah, I'm a
I can
window
see
person.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to
Okay.
watch the world, man.
I bet.
I bet. I have one more question for you that's been on my mind. Behind you, you have all of the tags hanging. Are those all of your tags from every concert that you've
Good eye.
gone to?
So not every concert, because not every concert gives you a tag,
Right.
but all the ones I've had in my life. This is so the first time I went to a singing lesson with one of my teachers called Michele Luppi here in Italy. He is the keyboard player for Whitesnake now,
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
cool.
and yeah, he's an amazing singer. And I went to his place, and he had all the tags over there, and I was saving mine, but back then it was like no 10, something like this. And he had this tree basically made of all these tags. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not the only one who's doing it. And we talk about it. We're like, yeah, it's memories. This is basically the map
Yeah.
of my
What you've
my
done.
background. Yeah, this is like if I look at them, I see every show that like my brain goes there, my mind goes
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
That's so
and
cool.
it's a memento. I think this is the word that you use for
A
it.
memento, yeah,
I could weigh
absolutely.
an elephant's head down with how many there are.
There
Yes,
are, yeah, it's a lot.
It's amazing.
it's good.
Now
I
it's a
love
lot.
it. I absolutely love it. I think that's amazing. I love how you keep your mementos from all of your shows. It also adds to like that what you've been talking about a lot is the vibes and the emotions and the memories and creating those connections with people. And I think that's beautiful. So thank you again for being with us. This has been such an amazing conversation.
You're more than welcome, guys, and hopefully we see each other in real life in Vancouver again.
Yes,
Absolutely. Next
absolutely.
time you're in North America, we'll definitely join there. You were only in Calgary because we used to be in Calgary, but then we moved to Victoria. or close to Victoria. So if you're in British Columbia, it'll be easier for us to come. But if Alberta is the closest, we'll try to make an next
We'll
plan.
make that drive.
Awesome. Thank you so very much, guys. It was
Okay,
a
man.
Thank
really
you so
pleasant evening.
much.
You have a good night, eh?
Bye bye.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.